While I was grieving for my dying father, my wife cheated with my best friend, but when my dad secretly made me a millionaire in his will, she came crawling back in tears, saying, "I made a huge mistake. 1 goodbye, 2 betrayals." When your father is dying, you expect pain. You expect grief. You expect to feel helpless. What you don't expect is betrayal. It started with a whisper. My dad's doctor gently pulled me aside that morning and said, "You should call your family. It won't be long now." I nodded, heart sinking into my stomach, and stepped outside the hospital room to call my wife, Amy. No answer. I tried again, voicemail. I texted her. They said, "It's time. Please come." What I didn't know at that moment was that while I stood outside a hospital room watching the man who raised me slip away, Amy was 120 miles away sipping cocktails with Trevor, my best man, my best friend since college. She didn't come. Not that day. Not the next. I sat by Dad's bed alone, holding his hand while machines whispered and beeped around us. His breath grew slower, shallower. His skin was pale and cold. When his fingers finally went still, I broke, not loudly, not dramatically. I just sat there feeling the stillness. I whispered, "I'll take it from here, Dad. You can rest." He left me in that room with a heart full of grief and a life suddenly stripped of the only man who ever taught me what loyalty really meant. I thought Amy was grieving in her own way, until 2 days later, I found her missing from our home. So was Trevor's truck. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe they went somewhere to talk. Maybe it wasn't what it looked like. But then I opened her laptop. Their messages were there, bold as fire. "He's so emotionally drained, he won't notice if we disappear for a few days. It feels so wrong but also right. We deserve this." That word hit harder than the funeral. My wife, the woman I built a life with. My best friend, the man who once swore to protect me like a brother. While I was watching my father die, they were planning their freedom. So I didn't call her. I didn't confront her. Instead, I buried my father, shook hands at the service, gave the eulogy, and returned home to a silent, empty house. But just when I thought I'd lost everything, my lawyer called. "Are you sitting down?" "I am now." "Your father left you everything, the cabin, the property. But that's not all." "What else?" "He had a private account. Stocks. Bonds. Real estate. It's substantial." "How substantial?" "Roughly $3.2 million. I didn't say a word. Not because I didn't care, but because I already knew what I was going to do next. Amy and Trevor thought they broke me. They had no idea. They just set the stage for the most calculated, ruthless, and deeply satisfying revenge of their lives. The comeback crawl. 3 weeks later, she returned. I was drinking coffee on the porch of my father's old cabin, the one I now owned, along with 3 other properties she didn't even know existed, when I heard tires crunching down the gravel driveway. "Amy." She stepped out of Trevor's pickup truck. Her hair was disheveled, no makeup, sunglasses hiding her eyes but not the redness around them. She looked like a woman who had aged 10 years in 3 weeks. I didn't stand. Didn't even greet her. She walked toward me slowly, twisting her fingers, voice trembling. "I made a mistake." I took a sip of coffee and stared out at the trees. "Did you now?" I was grieving. I wasn't thinking. "Trevor, he said all the right things, but it wasn't real. He's not you." I finally looked at her. "You were right. He's not." She sat on the porch steps without asking. She was crying now, not the fake kind, the ugly kind. The kind people cry when they've run out of excuses and they know the world won't catch them anymore. "He's staying with his ex now. I caught him messaging her 2 nights ago. Said I was just, convenient." I wanted to laugh. I didn't. Instead, I reached into my pocket, pulled out an envelope, and handed it to her. She blinked, opened it. Inside was a divorce agreement. Everything was already signed on my end. "I figured you might stop by eventually. All I need is your signature." "Wait, you're serious? You're not even going to fight for this?" "You didn't." She stared at the papers, stunned. "What about everything we built? Our house?" "Already sold. I bought it under my name during the refinance 3 years ago." The lawyer confirmed. "It's gone." "The savings?" "Mine now. Yours are gone. Trevor drained your accounts, didn't he?" Her face went pale. She didn't deny it. She looked like she was about to vomit. "You're just going to let me fall apart?" I finally stood up. "No. I'm going to walk away, and you're going to realize every single day what you gave up." I walked back into the cabin. She stayed on the porch for another 30 minutes, sobbing into her hands. Then she drove off. I haven't seen her since. But Trevor? He was next. And he had no idea what was coming. The fall of Trevor. Trevor always thought he was smarter than everyone else. In high school, he charmed teachers. At work, he stole credit for others' ideas. In my life, he took everything that mattered, until I made sure he would lose even more. Once Amy signed the divorce papers, broken, hollow, and alone, I set my sights on the man she left me for. And I knew exactly where to begin. Trevor worked for a mid-sized real estate firm. He was a top performing agent, but not because he followed rules. He had a habit of exaggerating property values, nudging paperwork past inspection requirements, and pressuring young buyers into bad deals. I had seen it all years ago but never said a word. Now I had a reason. I sent an anonymous envelope to his firm's compliance officer. Inside were screenshots of emails where he lied about appraisal values, client conversations I'd accidentally recorded at bar nights when we were still friends, and a printed complaint from a woman who had been strong-armed into signing a lease she couldn't afford. She was a friend of mine. Now, he didn't remember her name, but she never forgot his. I didn't sign the letter. I didn't have to. By week's end, Trevor was suspended pending investigation. But I wasn't done. Step 2, the social cut. I reached out to a few of our old friends, not with malice, just the truth. You should probably know what happened. He went after Amy while I was caring for my dying father. The reactions were immediate. Jesus, I thought he was your best man. He told everyone you walked out on her. He's been dating 3 girls since Amy left him. Turns out Trevor had moved on quickly, and not quietly, which made what came next even easier. I shared some of his more colorful text screenshots I had from the days when he used to boast about his hookups. Some were very recent. I made sure they found their way to the women he was currently juggling. He thought he was clever. He forgot I was watching. In less than a month, his career was imploding, his flings vanished, and his reputation was mud. And then came the final blow. Step 3, the public undoing. I bought the domain name TrevorJamesAlti.com, simple, clean, devastating. It contained everything, his unethical dealings, his betrayals, testimonies from people he hurt. I never promoted it, I didn't need to. It ended up shared on Reddit, then Twitter, then Nextdoor. By the time his firm called to inform him his license was suspended indefinitely, his voicemail was full of angry messages from former clients and confused friends. And just like that, Trevor James, golden boy of the local property scene, became radioactive. That night, I sat on the same porch Amy once cried on. Peaceful, quiet. And then, as if on cue, my phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. I know it was you. Please just stop. I turned off my phone and smiled. Because that's the thing about people like Trevor, they think betrayal makes them invincible, until they meet someone who turns silence into a weapon. Her final plea: 3 months after the divorce, Amy showed up again. She didn't text, didn't call. She just appeared, standing at the gate of my new home like a shadow from the past, dressed in the same coat she wore the night she walked out. Her face looked thinner, eyes puffy, hair disheveled, but most of all, she looked lost. I stepped outside and leaned against the porch rail. She didn't speak for a while. Then finally, in a voice I barely recognized, she whispered, "Trevor's gone. He lost everything. They fired him. He blamed me. He hit me, Jim." I didn't flinch. She waited for a reaction. I gave her none. She continued, her voice cracking. "I was so stupid. I thought he loved me. But he just used me. And God, I threw you away. You, who stood by me through everything." Her eyes welled up. "You were the only person who ever really loved me, weren't you?" I looked at her for a long moment, not with hate, not even anger, just finality. "I loved you when it mattered," I said. "But now you're a ghost." She stepped forward, shaking. "Please. I have nothing left. My family won't talk to me. Trevor's name is ruined. I can't get a job. I have nowhere to go." I tilted my head slightly. "That's funny. When I had nothing, you left me for the man who gave you less." She broke down. Then her knees hit the ground. "I'm sorry. Please, Jim. Just talk to me. Let me fix this." I crouched down beside her, not out of sympathy, but clarity. "There's nothing to fix, Amy. You made your choice, and I made mine. This porch, this house, this peace, it's not for you anymore." I stood, walked inside, and closed the door gently behind me. Epilogue, the 1%. 6 months later, I was invited to speak at a charity gala hosted by the hospice that cared for my father. They wanted me to share how his final months changed my life. I stood on stage in a tailored suit, a calm smile on my face. "You never really know who's in your corner," I said, "until you're at your lowest. Some people will surprise you. Others will disappoint you. But the biggest lesson? Survival isn't revenge. Success is. And peace is finally knowing they'll never be able to hurt you again." The crowd applauded. Somewhere, I knew Amy might still be searching for a new place to stay. Somewhere, Trevor might still be trying to rebuild the ashes of his ego. But me? I was exactly where I needed to be. Sometimes, the people you love the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. But what you do next, that's what defines your story. If this story hit home, made you feel something, or reminded you of how powerful quiet revenge can be, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Every click helps us bring you more real, raw, and emotional pro-revenge stories where justice isn't loud, it's earned. Turn on notifications so you never miss the moment the tables turn.